Welcome to my channel. My name is Kate, and during these 16 days of gender-based violence, I did realize that because of my book, The Superpower of the Girl Child, it's something that touches my heart because I was in that kind of a situation where I suffered and I went through the gender-based violence several times. But the way I want to look at it about this gender-based violence is something that I really want to go back to the foundation of how gender-based violence that we are talking about today, how does it start and where does it stop? Is there any way that we are going to see things getting to a point where it will stop, and how is it going to stop? Because there should be a starting point, and there also should be a point whereby we will say we are at a better position. Speaking about gender violence is like, I would want to believe that it starts back from where you are born, from your family. Because as I wrote my book here, I was talking about the girl child, the condition that within our African culture, there's a lot of the girl child, this, a girl child, that, a girl child, this, a girl child shouldn't do this, a girl child shouldn't jump here, a girl child shouldn't run, a girl child shouldn't speak back, a girl child needs to be submissive. You know, it starts right from where you are born as a girl child. When you look at it, it's like, let's say you are a parent and you've got 2 children. Look at yourself this way. A lot of us families, if you are born and there's a boy child, let's say you are 3 girls and then the 4th child is a boy, automatically our parents would change direction of the way they treat the boy child. He is a prince. Everything is like, it's our prince. Oh, my prince this, my prince that. Because what they believe is the boy child is the one who carries their name. That is in our African culture. Until now, this has been the norm, that the boy child is the best child, and it's the best thing that ever happened to a family when there's a boy child. So from there on, as I read my story, I said, with parents, it doesn't matter you are the eldest child. If you're a girl, you have no right to your parents' properties or an inheritance. Up until now, things have been slowly coming up, and this has been from that time of when you are born, and the way your parents look at you and perceive you as a girl child. It comes to a point whereby, if by any chance your parents die, your father dies, and you are a girl child, sometimes, unfortunately, they would start looking for someone from the family to come and represent your household because there's no boy child. Looking at it right now, this is where I realized then that this gender-based violence, it starts from there. I hope I'm getting this correct. It starts from that point that there's a recognition of the boy child. in such a way that you are perceived not to be there. You do not belong to the family because you are a girl child. Now, as you grow in a family where they are boys and you are a girl child, your parents will always think you are supposed to be a wife, so a mother, so you've got to be a submissive wife if you get married, and you have to get married, right? And the boy child is not told the same thing. He chooses when to get married, and even the parents feel okay with that. So now I get to a point whereby I would want to talk about the gender-based violence and how it starts, because I said it starts from your family, because charity begins at home. We find in our families that you would find that if something goes wrong or if you misbehave at home, your parents would ask your brother to beat you up or to discipline you because you have done something wrong. What happens is, from that point, the boy child recognizes that he is more powerful. He recognizes that he can do anything to his sister. So by the time the boy child is getting married, he already understands the norm that if his sister misbehaves or his wife is going to misbehave, what stops him to do the same thing that he used to do to his sister? You do the same. You beat up his wife because he has no remorse or anything, because it doesn't matter as far as he's concerned. Beating up his wife is like a norm because he used to beat up his sisters and his parents used to allow it to happen that way. So you as a girl child, you have no right, you have no say. And the second thing is, you cannot fight your brother, can you? Now you are now an old woman, you are now married. This husband, you are also not able to fight with that husband because he's more powerful to you. So as I was looking at and listening to a lot of us talking about the gender-based violence, we are looking at the end product, whereby you are now married and your husband is kicking you left, center, and right. Because in our African culture, I used to hear some of our parents saying, "Oh, if I beat you or if I slap you, it's because I love you. If I don't slap my wife, it means that I don't love my wife." This has been something that people used to believe in, and our grandparents before me, they used to not talk about gender violence. Even if they are slapped, she would wake up in the morning and she's got a swollen eye, a blue eye. And then if she's asked, she will say, "Oh, I bashed on the door," because it was taboo to talk about it. But now, during this time of our lives, some of us, we are here now. How do I feel about being beaten up? And how do I feel about my child being beaten by her husband? Or how do I feel about my son being beaten by my daughter-in-law? Because when we talk of gender violence, gender-based violence is not perpetuated by man only. It is also being perpetuated by women as well. We have seen a lot of incidences happening where a man has been beaten up, or a man has been killed by his wife. So the gender-based violence is not about women only. Of course, it's more of the women because we are the weaker ones, we cannot fight back. And moreover, most of the time, you are taught to be submissive as a woman. So in many cases, the woman will be at the receiving end, because the husband will decide whether he wants you to answer or he doesn't want you to answer. So there's been a lot of gender-based violence. I also want to attribute it to childhood trauma, because if the girl child was being disciplined by her brother, just the idea of me being disciplined by my junior, he is my junior, right? And so if my brother is younger than me, and then he has my parents have the audacity to think that my brother will have to discipline me, the way I feel being beaten by my brother or being disciplined by my brother, it carries on until forever, because it remains in my mind that why would my brother beat me up? And why would my parents allow it to happen that way? So for that reason, on this time of gender-based violence, this is my pick, and this is how I feel. As parents of now, I would want to leave this to parents like now, so that our next generation will have to understand that there's no need for gender-based violence. What is there is we need to leave children who understands that if there's a sister, they are equal. If there's a brother, these two are equal. They should be treated equally the same. They should be, from their young age, they should know that everything that is done in the house, both children should do the same. There's no one who is better than the other. And when it comes to inheritance, the girl child should also be accommodated part of it, because we are all children. So this gender-based violence, I think, is a big can whereby if we open it, there's a lot of worms that will come out of the gender-based violence, because it starts from where you are born. Because as they say, charity begins at home. So as parents of now, I would love to urge the parents of now that they need to start now, when they've got young children, they've got to catch them young now, so that they do not allow the boy child to be their best child, but to make sure that both children are equal, so that as they grow up, they will come to a point whereby they will understand each other and they will live in harmony. Many times we've lost that opportunity as parents, and what we see at the end of the day is this boy child who have not been taught to live with his sister is now going to end up even killing his wife. Or it's the girl child who has been traumatized, and then after that childhood trauma, what ends up is she's gonna be bitter. So for that reason, during this week of gender-based violence, I would want to urge parents of now to treat their children the same and give them the same opportunities as it should be, so that at least the gender-based violence will start to end. Otherwise, it will keep going just like that. This is my pick, and I hope I'll add some more.